Brandon. This is Brenda.
Hey Brenda, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good, good. Just wanted to see how things worked out for you. Did you get what you were looking for?
We did not, so
Okay.
I had you on my list to call today.
Okay. Do you have a few moments right now, or are you busy right now?
You know what? Today's a little bit crazy because we're seeing my daughter's dorms and
Okay.
stuff down in Fullerton.
Oh,
And my
nice.
my husband wanted to know if you might be able to come over tomorrow or have a conference call tomorrow.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'm actually tomorrow's wide open. So, what time would be best for you tomorrow?
We're pretty open also because we work from home. So.
Okay. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I just have something early in the morning. But I mean, is earlier usually better for you, or do you prefer closer to lunchtime around, early afternoon or early morning?
Can I put you on hold for a moment? Let me go ask him if he has any, Zoom meetings or anything.
Yeah, no problem, Brenda.
Okay. Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for holding.
No problem, Brenda.
Bob's checking his schedule for tomorrow.
Okay.
But he was kind of wondering if you have a moment. Could we chat right now?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Okay, this is my husband, Bob.
How are you doing, Bob?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
I was just trying to, what I wanted to do, I didn't realize that you had come and shown some people the property already. I wasn't sure if you had seen it yourself.
Yes.
So I was just curious about what your opinion is, and if it's just a matter of just being overpriced, or we just don't have the right thing for the market, or what do you think?
Oh, well, the biggest challenge is when you do try to sell it on your own as for sale by owner, you get people are looking for a deal, they're looking for an opportunity. They rationalize it that you're not paying out a full commission on both sides. So if they do try to come in, typically they're trying to negotiate because they don't think they have as much competition.
Okay.
And so we won't really truly know. And you've already had a good amount of showings, which is great. And you were offering 2.5%, but they feel less pressure if they don't see a sign out front, if they don't see you on the MLS. It's a little harder to find you, even though you're on Zillow, which gets a lot of exposure. So,
Yeah.
in my honest opinion, just seeing the place and seeing the other homes, I saw the one that just went in escrow at 959, that they purposely actually priced it low at 959, being that they were just a little bit, they were the 2,900 square foot model. So I saw that one, and in my opinion, your home had better features than theirs. They put a certain type of quartz countertop in the kitchen. That was nice. Their backyard. Did you see that property? Did you guys get a chance to go into it when it was the one up the street that was on Peach Hill that Tina had? Well, it's actually Libby Hare, her daughter, but Tina Hare's sign was out there. Did you ever see inside it?
No, we
So,
didn't see it.
so the home was nice, a beautiful home, just like your home's a beautiful home. It had some different features, a little bit bigger, and it had an extra bedroom, which I know my clients personally, just having a larger family, really wanted that extra bedroom, and he's working from home, which he was already doing even before this COVID, so he needed that extra space. So he was leaning more towards that one just based off of size, but they actually liked your backyard better. They liked your pool better. It was fit that they were trying to make it, at that price point, they want everything to be the way they want it to be. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And not thinking like, okay, we need to put a little bit more money into it. And there are some things that I saw walking through the house that you can get past if you're on the MLS, and we create enough of a multiple offer situation. The tough part about that is, as you know right now with accommodating showings, it was a lot of work. We just did this for those buyers that I brought into your house. We sold their Sunset Hills property. Luckily, they went on vacation for a week. So I had the house vacant basically during that week. They had a couple cats, so I went over there to try to help with the kitty litter box and a few things. But we did showings just about every half an hour. And the first day we had almost 20 showings. It was like 18 showings on the first day. The second day was double digits as well. We had an offer by the second day, and then we had told everybody ahead of time, look, we gave almost a full week, a full 6 days between when offers came in to when we would respond. But I actually started responding by Friday because I started getting some really good buyers in, some 20% down, 30% down, all cash actually over ask. So I had a pool of 4 solid buyers up front that I knew that, okay, now I can start swinging for the fences in terms of my negotiating, doing an as-is clause, knowing we had work to do. And the offer, we listed at $750 for that property. It went in escrow at $780, $30,000 higher. We did an as-is clause. We also tried to attempt to have the $780 waive the appraisal, but they countered back that if the appraisal came in at $775, they would cover it. If it was less than then, they didn't agree to it, which I was still okay with that because I do think that we're going to get the value. I believe in that property, we priced it aggressively, which was interesting because a model match was at $775 to ours. They were on the market for 100 days. They had to drop it all the way down to $725, and then they got a $725 offer. So I told them, I said, if we start at $775, it's probably going to be too high. And if it's too high and we do what this other one did, because everybody's going to see it. It's in escrow at $725. It's been on 100 plus days. It's a model match. It's literally right up the street from where we're at. Ours is in better shape, but theirs had at least an updated kitchen. But it needed some other areas that needed updating. So he was like, oh, mine's way better, and I'm seeing other comps over 800,000. I said, everything you're saying is accurate. I said, I just need you to trust me. I've known this family for over 13 years. I said, you need to trust me right now. Don't listen to Zillow. Don't listen to Redfin. Listen to me. I'm telling you based off experience. Trust me. And it's not what we listed at. It's what we sell at that matters, right? And I said, and if you're not happy with what the end result is, we don't sell it, period. Even if you get over asking price and we're not happy with it, we don't sell it. So that took a lot of pressure off him. It took the full week. Most offers, the highest we were getting was $765, which was about 15 over ask. Then I started thinking like, man, maybe I should have went a little bit higher in terms of the price, to see if because everybody was writing at asking 5 over, 10 over. I got the as-is clause signed by just about everybody, but then they didn't want to move much in price. Once they saw how I was going to try to tighten that part of it up, and then on the appraisal side. So those are the two biggies. But the only way that you can truly do that is if they fear losing it to another person, and that's just coming from a much more powerful negotiating position than the position of having one person come in a little under ask or way under ask, or having where they can tell you're priced on the higher side, and they're going to let you sweat it out on the market and let it sit, and then just hope. And just because buyers know and they can see comps and they see the Zillow, the Redfin, and all of that, and they pay weight to it, but they pay more weight to their agent. And if the agent is aggressive and knows the market and knows what's happening right now, knows you need to do certain things to make sure you win. And another good example of that, it's another home in Camarillo here that I just had a buyer get their offer accepted. They listed at $715. We wrote $745. We were non-contingent, only 10% down, but my loan officer is rock solid. And the other agent knew me as a manager for C21. So she knows that I know my stuff as well. And I actually was Tina Harris' boss at the Wood Ranch office. So when your wife mentioned that she may be writing an offer, it's like, okay, well, you're going to have a pretty strong agent on the other side. So it's not that you can't stand your own with that. She just has a strong pulse of what's happening in the market right now. And if she feels she has an edge, she's going to take advantage of that edge, and try to negotiate on her client's behalf. And that's why, even though you can represent yourself, when you have the right representation, it can just really make it a much better process where you got somebody looking out for you, somebody who's got a vested interest, somebody, and I take a lot of pride in it. It's not to be competitive, but if you both hired me to represent you, I would take pride in having a listing in an area that I know that she dominates the area, and it's nothing to do it for that sense. It's just to know that you can get your proper representation. I don't have to charge you a 3.5% commission, which, just so you know, when I was at C21, I did charge 3.5% commission, and I more than justified the value based on the results that my clients would get. And what I mean by that is they always saw they netted more money with me. I protected them on the negotiations and did that. But being what I had shared with your wife, and I meant it then, and I mean it now, I'd be more than happy to give you full representation at 1.25%. All I ask is that you keep that confidential. I wouldn't want Tina, I wouldn't want any other agent knowing that we just keep that between us. And I know that that's still enough for me to be able to do what I need to do to commit the time to do it right. But more of it is pride for myself of knowing, okay, I can sell a home and make you the most money that you can make and protect you through the process. So, looking at the price, just answering your question, I know that's a long answer, but I'm trying to share with you a little bit in terms of how we work and how we protect our clients. There's a sweet spot. There's a magic number. And you had showings on your first weekend, which was great, as a for sale by owner. So that's all positive. But you do get agents who don't go in good faith. I went in good faith and brought clients that I was hoping would love your house, and then, and being frank, would hope that I had a little bit less competition in a very competitive market, right? But unfortunately, and they spent a lot of time there. They didn't just love the house, so I can't push them into it, and you wouldn't want that either. You want somebody who's fully committed and appreciates. The beautiful swimming pool, the garden, everything that you have with that house, and the way that I love the layout to your property as well. But you also have, when you look at the comps and you look at what is sold that's a model match to yours, or even a little bit bigger than yours, they're even in it's like 700,000-800,000 range. There's nothing north of 900,000 yet. But what you have going is that swimming pool in that backyard, one of the bigger lots in the area. And that's the premium. And even Libby Hare shared that with me when I was at her property, being the 29,000 square foot model. The other comp that sold at $1,001,001 that went way over asking price, but they saw the value and they jumped on it. So even if we went at your price right now, that probably would be what I would recommend. But at the same time, you got to be a little careful with that. Because if we're not getting anybody to write offers, the only feedback you need to know is if they're not writing, you're overpriced, right? They don't think that you have the value in the home, and even if you get them to write, If you only get one person to write and we can't get them to waive the appraisal contingency, then you're going to deal with it down the road anyways, and you missed out on the hottest part of the market.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Agree. No, I agree with you.
Okay. So just, I mean, in terms of what I've shared so far, is it, how would you feel about me potentially representing the two of you? And I know it's, we're still just meeting and kind of getting to know each other. Do you feel that I could, help you get what you're looking for?
Yeah, I think we should do it.
Okay. Do you want me to send the agreement today, or do you want me to meet in person tomorrow? Okay, I'll send it over. So do you want to go 9:39 then?
We're looking for your input, Brandon.
Okay. Let's try 9:39. I wanna go for it. I mean, tell me a little bit about the offer that you got to start with, and let's go from there, because I got to know as much as I can, as well as what you're trying to accomplish, to make sure, if we have time on our hand. The only downside to going too far with this, if you start getting where you get like 20, 30 days, 45 days on market, I don't want to chase the market down. And then that can hurt you. So, just based off looking at the comps, if you want to get aggressive where you're going to create exactly what I did on the last one, you're in the lower 9s to even like 8.99, and you can push it up. I mean, you could still end up in the 9.20, 9.30, 9.40 range. But if you want to see the absolute highest that you can get, we can try it out for a couple weeks. If we don't see anything happen, or us get the offers that we want to get, and we can't negotiate the strong terms that we want, then we want to drop it and try to get it, closer to that sweet spot. I just prefer to start where we're getting everybody to jump in, right at once. So with the offer that you got, what were the terms that came in on that offer?
Brandon, just being brutally honest.
No problem. I'm sorry?
I was bullshitting you.
Oh, you BS me. Well, good job. I appreciate that. No, good job with that. No, I believe that you did have something, and I appreciate the honesty now. See, now we're on the same team, so it's okay. But yeah, and just
I never tell somebody that I have no offers.
Yeah, well, no, good job with that. And I actually thought, so did Tina Hare never bring anything over?
She did not, although she brought her customers back, and when they were standing in the yard, they said they were going to submit an offer.
And they didn't.
Right, and I suspect that she might do it today just as a strong arm thing, to be like, we're not following your rules.
Right.
Because I know she can be a little bit sassy.
Yeah. Tina's, and she's good. She is a good agent, and she's got a great team that works with her. Carrie Mangola, I actually recommended for Carrie to join her team. Do you know Carrie? Do you remember when Carrie and Kathy were advertising a lot in Moore Park?
I do. They're not mean and honest. They're not my favorite people.
That's okay. Not the first time I heard that either. So that's all right.
But I did reach out to several of the agents that do well in Serenata,
right,
and had some good response. There were quite a few of them. Now, I didn't BS about the number of people that did come.
Good.
You came today and you saw that I just had constant traffic.
Right.
And that was partially because I reached out to some people that I know sell in the neighborhood, or that had shown the house next to us.
Okay.
Because I sell insurance, so I'm, I know a lot of the realtors here as well.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, I want to be honest with you, since we're going to be partners. And
well, thank you.
What I think is the next step we should do?
So the next step, I'll send over the agreement. We need to get it. Are you open with a for sale sign being out front? Can we get that? Can I get that ordered to be put out there?
Yep.
Okay, so we need to get the for sale sign. We need to get it on the MLS. I need to get, and your photos are good, but I'd like to get, there's two different photographers that I work with. One, and being up front with you, she's newer, but she'll do it as a favor to me, and I can have her just get started with it. So if I can get out there, I know you're busy today, if I can get out there tomorrow, I can at least start her with it, get some photos to get started. Then I can, there's another photographer, and I don't mind having both of them if you're open to it, and her name's Denise Butler. She's a fantastic one. She's the one who did the photography and the video for my last one. It starts adding up, once you start doing aerial video and everything else. And I am, cutting my rate quite a bit for you, but I'm very confident that we're going to get you the terms that you're looking for. It's the biggest thing is I was looking at those comps, seeing the difference. It's not a huge difference, but it's an extra bedroom, and it's the square footage difference between your property and the 27 to 29 that's going out at the higher amount. But I do think if you were, I'm trying to think of the magic number. If you were at about 919 to 925, I think you're going to be very pleased with what your results are. 939, I think we're stretching it, but I think it's possible. So that if it were me looking at everything and just coming in and interviewing for the job, I'd say the range I would see, if you want a sure thing, you do 899, you put it right under 900K, and you're gonna knock that out no problem. But if you go about 915 to 925, I think you're right in range where you need to be, that you're gonna see your top end. And you'll see people right, and they'll try to go as high as they can. And the Libby's and the Tina Hares and them of the world that know, Debbie Gates, her property went out 959, and that one went supposedly over ask, had ceramic tile in certain areas, and I saw it. It's still a nice property, but not updated throughout like the $1 million property, that went out over $1 million. So if it were me, that's what I would do. I'd probably be somewhere between 915 to 925 is my range. Do you want to try that, or do you want to try to go for the higher amount and then adjust it in a couple weeks?
No, I think since we've already been out at 939 as a FSBO, it would be realistic to show it at 9. I'm just so somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, when people click the little thingy saying, I want to see something between 500 and 700.
Right.
If they click 900, are we going to miss out on those people at 899?
That's a great point. You're saying if you put it at 899? No, it's always lower is always better in terms of creating the value. So what they're going to look at is they're going to compare when people value and price are two different things. So price is what we're asking for. Value is the desirability that they see when they get into the place, that they're like, this is the gotta have house. We can't miss it. Put your best foot forward. That's what we want. We want everybody coming in to win. We want everybody coming in with their best foot forward. Anything we ask them to do, if I tell them to cross-qualify with Jason, as I mentioned to you before, if we get somebody who supplies a DU approval and they got at least 20% down, and they run it, and I can ask him, and I am going to, since you've already said that we're going to work together, I'm going to reach out to him and say, run a mock scenario, see how high you can go, and get that appraisal waiver. And if he tells me at like 929 he can't get it, then we know we either need more money down, or we're going to need them to physically remove that appraisal waiver and come up with the difference. So that's going to be probably your biggest hurdle. The lease solar can be an issue, but right now in this low inventory market, you're in better shape with that. And also, like, I remember asking the question of how much did it come out monthly, and you shared with me the savings, which was a smart response. But I need to have the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that I need to know in terms of challenges, because I remember walking around the property, and I saw, and there's settlement cracks, but I saw some little cracks, on the outside and the exterior by the windows, little things that I know for my buyers personally, they were concerned, not so much on your property, but just in general. They're concerned every time they see that, because they had one contractor tell them, oh, you got a foundation issue. And I said, look, everything in California has these little cracks, right? And if you're really that concerned about it and you love the house, then you get a foundation specialist to come in, which I got a guy in TO that charges about $500. He's actually not a structural engineer, but they focus on foundations and laying concrete and doing that. I don't think you have an issue there, because I even walked around the flooring to see if I felt anything. I didn't feel anything. I think you guys are solid, and you got your regular settlement cracks. But again, these are things that people will try to negotiate with. It can concern them where they back off on it. So it's just little things like that is kind of the difference you get in terms of knowing somebody who has a strong pulse of what's happening right now, what buyers are expecting, as well as how do I protect my sellers, in that situation, to make sure that we disclose everything properly, but at the same time, make sure we make every penny we can on the sale of the home.
Right.
So, and I'm sorry I give a lot of long answers. That's I did go to law school.
All good, man.
All right, cool. I appreciate that. So some people, it's like, all right, just tell me the answer. I asked you the question too. It's like, it's a very, I guess, analytical thought process. But, I definitely have a lot of experience to make sure I can navigate you guys through the right way of doing this and take some pressure off. And you guys have already done a lot up front, and that's why, it is going to be a team effort, in terms of how we approach this. And in terms of figuring out showings, are you still comfortable doing the showings? Because typically, the way that it's been working, obviously it was a unique situation where my sellers left for the week, right? But in most situations, the buyer agent shows up. We have a little kind of table like you had set up out front where they can wash their hands. If we want to ask them to wear gloves, only one out of all the properties that we've been checking out lately has required the gloves. But if you feel more comfortable with that, you can have that. Biggest thing they want on a compliance standpoint from us is for us to have some type of system in place that we are trying to wipe down either doorknobs or common areas. So if you're open to doing that on your end, that helps me out a lot for me trying to be there, especially when we're trying to get really as much activity as we can, hopefully in that first week. And if we get the right amount of activity in that first week, we should be able to materialize the offers that you guys are happy with the end result by the end of that week, in terms of showing. So that week's going to be pretty rough, and I'm sure it's been tough, just over this last weekend to kind of give you a taste of what's involved. Are you guys open to doing that?
I think we need to talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
And also about, I would like it scheduled so that it's not just, people saying, hey, can we bring someone over in 45 minutes?
Absolutely not. No. Yeah, definitely scheduling it. Right. And normally, so my wife's a licensed agent as well, and typically she handles that on my end to coordinate that with the owner. So she would reach out to you as soon as she got a call. We don't tell them that there's even a super there. We actually tell them that they need to reach out to Danielle, so she reaches out to you, and then we figure out what timing works best for the two of you. The more available we can make the house, the better odds you're going to get what you want in a sooner period of time. If we put too many restrictions on it, you're just going to miss out on some that could be, the all-cash buyer or somebody who's going to come in to win that's missed out on other properties. Because right now, buyers are feeling the pressure, and they're losing out on good homes that show well. So we do want to put your property in the best light possible. That's why I'm going to potentially have 2 photographers come out. I'd like to do one tomorrow if you're open to it, and then have her go out, and then I can find, if that's good, if that does the job, then we're done. But if we need the second one with the video, then we can do that as well. Or I can just reach out to Denise and just have her do the video and those photos out the gate. So whatever your preference is. If it were me, I'd prefer to have the gal that I'm actually trying to groom for my team, for her to go out there, and she's done photos for me in the past, but she's still just newer to the process, so it just takes just a little bit longer. With the other gal, a little bit more expensive, but she'll need about probably 2.5 hours in total, and she'll do the photo and the video. If we just do the photos, it'll be about 1.5 hours roughly for your size property.
All right, and do they typically do it near sundown because I've noticed the photos look like they're not blown out and stuff?
Right. Well, actually, normally in the past, we try to find when the sun gives the best lighting, which is usually around noon to 2 o'clock, depending on the location of the home with the sun. There's actually an app that shows where the sun hits to give the best lighting. The sundown, though, the sunset pictures are really nice as well. And a lot of that is doctored with the sunset photos. When you see those, they can actually go buy those and then pull in those sunset photos. So you take the photos at like 2 o'clock to get the best light on the inside of the house, and then they actually pull the sunsets in as well. So a few different options with that. We can try to do, would you prefer the sunset photos?
No, I was just asking.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt you and start talking for a second.
No problem.
Should we take it off Zillow and let you repost it, or what's the best way to do the Zillow?
Yeah, you definitely want to take it down from the Zillow from right now. Once it gets relisted, we're going to get that up. If you can send me the photos that you have now, I can pop that up, but I usually like to push it out if we can. So today, all right, we're Tuesday today. We definitely want to take advantage of this weekend. I guess getting back to the showings, what's your preference for that? And then I'll try to work it the best with that. Do you want at least an hour, 2-hour notice?
Can we get back to you on that? I know
Okay.
it's a little, but
Yeah.
I need to talk to Bob and the kids.
Okay.
We have 2 college kids here right now. We may just try and vacate the place for you, but that means we got to find some place to go.
Okay. All right.
So,
yes, sir.
sorry, Brendan. So you were talking about, I mean, during that week, you were just saying that you're expecting like a lot of activity for a 1-week period. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. So it could be multiple showings at different times of the day.
Exactly. So the way it worked out, if you guys decide that you say, okay, we want to leave for a few days, and we're going to have most of the showings during those days, then I'm going to set it up as early as I can in the morning to as late as possible. And the lockbox only allows, you can set the time parameters to it. Typically, it's like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We actually started, I'm trying to remember when the earliest was when we did it. I want to say it was about 9:30 a.m. and it went till 7 p.m. But it was literally every 30 minutes. And I had the station out front, and actually I went out there, I was there for the first half, so I was there from the morning to set up to make sure everything was ready to go, everything was clean, we're good, and I stayed there, and I was there till about noon, so I was there from, let's say, 8:30 to about noon, just kind of watching the activity, seeing if people were being careful, wiping down and doing it. I had a sign out front that said after you were done, make sure you kept the doors locked because they had 2 cats. Don't let don't leave the doors open, and then also wipe down everything. And then I had a Clorox wipes box there, and people were doing it. And I saw them come out with a little trash can. They would throw it out. So that's enough for us to stay compliant. In reality, most listing agents aren't even doing that much or enforcing that. It is on the buyer's agent to supposedly go wipe it down, but it is also to the listing agent to make sure that people are following it. And that's in our communication as we set the appointments. So we tell them, okay, can you do that? They have to send that PED form, and then also, we just give them those instructions.
All right. So, do you think we can move fast enough where you could start seeing people? People could start seeing the house Friday, or do we need to do it Saturday?
Oh no, Friday is absolutely doable. We just need to. Okay. I need to reach out to both girls and see what their availability is. I got a feeling the one that is a little bit newer, I can get her out there ASAP. So that's, even if you said later today or tomorrow, we can go and do that. Then get the photos, get them edited, and then have them ready to go. But that's the most important thing. The video is just a bonus. I push it on social media. I get some more buzz going on that. I did that on the last one, and I know it helped out. But to be honest, it was a price point at $750 in Thousand Oaks that drew everybody to it, and that's why we had 20 to 30 showings quick, and then we ended up with 8 offers within about a 6-day period. So that's, if you decided, yes.
All right, here's what we're going to do.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry to get you off.
No, it's okay.
You get excited like me.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it off the Zillow.